Friday night, and I'm here partying on a guitar. And I'm sorry I didn't think about videoing earlier, but I'll bring you up to speed where I'm at. Opened up there, and I'll post pictures of it, but I opened up this, and I shielded the whole thing with copper. I replaced all the pots with these gold-plated shaft and collar pots. They're decent. I put an orange drop capacitor in there and replaced all the screws with stainless. Cleaned up the pick guard as best I could. It's got a lot of age on it. I'm going to clean up around these screws next. Well, actually, next I'm getting ready to drop this bridge in. When I took the bridge out to clean it, I seen that this was cracked. I filled that hole with a dowel, and then I filled the crack with CA. So it should be nice and rock solid now. Here's the bridge. Taking it off, I've got it soaking in some oil right now because it's pretty raunchy. I'm cleaning it all up. So that'll go on next. Here's the saddles that came off it. Got to clean those up. And then I'll come over here and address all these divots in the frets. Try to get rid of those. At least a bunch of them. It's not paying me to do a fret level and everything, but I'm doing a setup, so I like to clean up a lot of those as much as I can. I'll do like 4 or 5 for free. I'm gonna do about 7 or 8 for him for free, just because he needs it, and his budget's tight like everybody's. The nut slots are not cut deep enough, typical of a Squire. They're too high. So I'll file that nut down and slot them deeper. I'd like to put a bone nut in there. I'll have to ask him if he'd like to do that. Anyways, that's where I'm at. And stay tuned, I'll bring you right back. Okay, so right now I'm cleaning up all these saddles. They got crud in the little holes, so you have a hard time getting a wrench in there. So I'm using the fine point on this miniature diamond file and ream out these holes. Just a minute ago I was using my small wire brush here to clean them up with, and now I'm just cleaning all the Allen wrench holes out so the Allen wrench can fit in there and adjust it. I lubed them all, and all the screws are free. That's good. You can turn them by hand, but once the pressure of the strings is on there, it's a little different story. So just want to make sure all the spots for the wrench to go are nice and clean, so that I don't have to worry about stripping any screw heads. Next, I'll put these back on the bridge. I've already cleaned the bridge up. It looks real good, no corrosion on it. Just normal wear. Tightened up the sustain block, was a little loose, the screws, so tighten that up. All right, hang around, be right back. So as you see, I've got the bridge here and everything's been cleaned. Screws are clean, the springs are clean, the bridge is clean, the sustain block is clean. And I'm putting these saddles back in place. This is what you get when I tell you I'm gonna give your guitar a spa treatment. This is part of it. Take your bridge completely apart and clean it. The screws, the springs, all of it. I appreciate you guys hanging out and watching. I appreciate your support. I'm trying my best to give you the best value you can get anywhere. And if you've been here, I'm sure you've already realized that you'll get more than you pay for. I try to make sure of that with everybody. You might not get, 750 pesos of free services, but you might. You might get a lot more. Just depends. But I do try to give everybody the best value. This guy, the last guy on the fender strap, I gave him some free shielding. He wanted it. Didn't have the funds for it at the time, so I decided I'll just give it to him. He's a return customer, and I'm sure he'll return again when he needs my service. I try to make sure there's no problem with your guitar when you leave here. I make everybody test their guitar. But occasionally something slips out, and it's not a problem if, not like this is. It's not a problem if you need to bring it back, you just bring it back. There's no charge. Sometimes you get one fret that wants to buzz after they've been cleaned up or something. Yeah. Anybody knows they're welcome to bring it right back to me, and I will take care of it at no charge, because that's the kind of guy I am. But it's the truth. All right, this is about back together. So anyways, I decided to give this guy some free shielding also. He's getting a lot of work done, so I'm just tossing it in there. Voila. Semi-pre-intonated. I'll get this thing put on, and then we'll see what happens next. Thanks for hanging around, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, everything's cleaned up. Cleaned up the screws around the pickup. Screws for the bridge are nice and clean. Bridge is together. And I just got one string on here, and I cleaned down the fretboard. And I gave it a little squirt from the old hairdresser's bottle. Which happens to be linseed oil, by the way. I buy a bulk container, and then I just put it in that spray bottle to make it convenient. Put a little squirt or two on the fretboard of linseed oil anyways. And, now I'm wiping it all off. Prior to doing that, I took the divots out of the frets. These frets were pretty dented up. And as you can see, they have a nice clean appearance and radius. There's some down here, but I didn't get all the way down. I stopped at the 12th fret. These down here weren't too bad, and I didn't contract to do that. I'm just doing it as a friendly gesture. Because I can. It didn't cost me nothing but my time. I'm out here late at night. It's 11:15. And this is what I'm doing. Okay. Now I'm going to get the strings all on. Let's see if I can sit you down here and you can see this. I'm sure you've seen this 100 times, but I'll show you again anyways. Sorry about the dirty rags. I've been using a lot of them on this one. Alright, so as I always tell you guys, when you're putting your strings on, if it's going on this post, count 3 past it. 1, 2, 3, and that's where you want to cut the string off. I generally go 2.5. I recommend you go 3. So you're not short, in case you're not as efficient as myself. Then I give it the string a bend, going in the direction that the string comes over this side. So I bend that string around that side. Oops. And I'll stretch the strings after they're done, but I stretch them with the pliers. I pinch that little piece of string out, and then I see here how it's going loose. I bend that little piece in, and I grab a hold of it, and I give it a little stretch so it doesn't stretch anymore there in the post. That little trick right there, I don't show too many people, but I just showed you. That little trick helps keep your guitar in tune, especially when you got new strings. After I get these on, then I do the old yank test, but there's a certain way you should yank them also, not just pull on them or the one finger hook and push down, because you don't want to put a little kink in your line. So here's the one that's going 1, 2, 3. I'll cut 2.5. The reason I cut 2.5 is you don't want any more loops going around your post than what is necessary, because you don't want your string overlapping itself. The reason is because that becomes a point of going out of tune. Speaking of overlapping, anyways, go 3, 2.5 past the one you want. You will end up with 3 rounds on the post, 3 winds. And that is just right. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, exactly 1, 2, 3 on each one, and that's going 2.5. So if you go 3, you might end up with 4 winds, but that's okay. That's not too many. But the ideal is to make it efficient so that you don't end up with strings going out of tune. Now when I get down to these unwound strings, primarily the B and the E, I might wrap one more time. I can tell you I will. I will cut it at 3. I won't cut it at 2.5. I will. Actually, I might cut it a little more than 3, because I often will run the string back through the tuner, go halfway around, stick the string in one more time, and then wind it, because these small strings are known for slipping. Okay, so I ran out of tuners to count, right? So I come here and count backwards. 1, 2, 3. That's where I can cut it. I'm going to poke it in there. And then I'm going to go around the top. Poke it back in. Oops. Easier said than done sometimes. Poke it back into the hole. I'm going to grab it with my little needle nose. And then I'm going to pull that tight. That's it. Then wrap it. So Fender uses 18-1, Squire uses 16-1, so it takes a few spins there with the drill, right? Just to go 3 times around that post. 16 spins of the drill is 1 time around. Alright, now the last one. There, and count back. 1, 2, 3. I can cut it there. Poke it in the hole. Push it back through one more time. I go over the top, okay. Grab it with my needle nose, pull tight, and then crank it. Sticking to my watch. Yep, there we go. Alright, and that's how we string up a Strat. Now if you had 3 on each side, those tuner spacings are different, so obviously it's going to be different. I generally go 1 3/4 of the way to the next, then cut it out of 3x3. Alright, thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna get busy and get this sweet guitar set up. Hang around, I'll be right back. Okay guys, there it is. Adjusted the nut, cleaned up the first 12 frets. It really needs work all the way down the frets, but that's all it's going to get for now. But it's playing pretty good. It's pretty nice. Put one new knob on there to try to blend them in so they didn't stick out. Everything's good to go. Owner should be pretty happy. Nice and clean too, fretboard all conditioned. Very nice. Alright, thanks for hanging out, and you could be next to get shelched. Come on over and see me.